Hey Braxters! So, I don't want to do a very super long intro to this video because I have found that they're boring. So let's just jump right in. This video is my scars and I'm going to tell you some crazy stories on where they came from. So my very first scar, I actually don't even remember getting. My mom had to tell me where it came from, but it is actually on my knee. And it is from when we were moving into one of our houses before it was like officially finished, I fell on top of the vent and it literally gave me like a perfect 2 cuts on my knee. So that is the first scar. The rest of these are probably not going to be in order because I'm just not organized like that. So the scars on my hand are actually insane and you're probably not going to believe where I got them. So I used to work at a pet store. This was a couple years ago, and every Tuesday, I believe, we would get in the shipment of the new animals, and if you had to work that morning, you had to put them in their pens. And on this particular morning, we got a lot of bunnies. I don't know why. I think probably because it was around Easter time. And normally when you put the animals in, you kind of would have to pay careful attention because the animals that were already in the pen might attack the ones that you are putting in. So I am not a very tall person and I could reach inside the bins, but for me to actually be able to like pick up an animal, I would actually have to stand on my tiptoes. So I was putting the animals in and I had just put a baby bunny in with one of the other bunnies. And I did not know that bunnies could be so ferocious, but the bunny that was in the pen started attacking this baby bunny, and I mean like brutally attacking it, like with his little bunny claws. So I started freaking out and I tried to grab the bunny, but I couldn't reach, and I just couldn't get him in time for this brutal attack to end. So the only thing that I could think to do was just put my hand down there and hold it in front of the baby bunny until the big bunny stopped and I could actually like reach the bunny. So I had to sacrifice my hand to save this little bunny's life. Another scar is actually on the back of my heel. I remember we were on vacation. I was on vacation with my parents and I was shaving in the bathroom. I was dry shaving. I'm the worst at that. You get the worst razor bumps. Anyways, I was dry shaving, standing up in the bathroom because we were about to go to the beach, and I nicked my heel. I have never in my life bled that much from shaving. Like, it didn't hurt really, but it would not quit bleeding. And I remember when we went to the beach later on that day, I did not get in the ocean because I was like, no, not today. I did not want to get in the ocean and some shark try to like bite my foot off. So another scar that's on my hand is like a really stupid story. I was living with my parents at the time, and my boyfriend of the time, my ex-boyfriend, had come over, and I hate being tickled, you guys. Like, it's not fun. And when I say, oh, I hate it, no, I freaking hate it. Like, I'll cut your head off. Hate it. So we were watching a movie and he starts tickling me and I'm like, no, stop. And I don't know if in his head he heard like, oh no, stop. That's not how I meant it. I meant like, no, stop, before I literally break up with you. I hate being tickled. It is the worst feeling in the world. Well, he would not stop tickling me, so I start like trying to get away, and you know, I'm just flailing my arms and all kind of stuff. Somehow or another, he had like gigantuan fingernails and he sliced the top of my knuckle, and I remember like it didn't hurt at all. It just bled a lot, I guess, because it was on my hand, but it literally did not hurt at all. But you guys, I was so pissed at the fact that he was tickling me. I remember I acted like it hurt so bad. I was like, oh my god, it hurts so bad. I can't believe you hurt me, because I was so pissed off that the dude was tickling me. So I also have a scar on one of my birthmarks. It's so weird, but it's on the lower part of my right leg, and I don't really remember exactly how I got this. I just remember I was playing at my Grammy's house where she used to live, and she had a really steep gravel driveway, and I believe that I fell and a piece of gravel scraped it. But I remember I had to be pretty young because I wasn't worried that I had cut myself. I was so upset because I had ruined my birthmark. And even now, like, you would think that it wouldn't have affected it that much, but it literally cut my birthmark in half. It's the weirdest thing ever. Sorry about the change of outfit and everything. I actually am editing this video and realized that I forgot one of my scars, which it's kind of weird that I forgot this one because it's the most recent one that I've gotten. It's been a while, but still the most recent. This one is actually on my left index finger. I also got this one at the pet store. Apparently the pet store was a really crazy place to work. But this story actually still pisses me off till this day because I blame a complete stranger. At the pet store, when I was the manager, the people that did not have direct deposit, they would receive their checks, I think on Tuesdays, and I would always put them in the safe and they would come and pick their checks up. Well, this particular day, our maintenance man called and was looking for his check because apparently it was not supposed to be sent to our store. It was supposed to be sent to a store out of town because he was working out of town that week. And we actually did have his check. So he said that he was going to send his wife to come get his check. But obviously he was really pissed off because his wife was having to make a special trip to town to get his check because the company messed up. I totally understand his frustration, but again, I had nothing to do with the mishap. It was definitely not me. So later on that day, the store was completely slammed. Like, we had lines at both registers, people trying to buy animals. It was insane. It was packed, and it was only me and one other person working at the time. And we were waiting on a third person to get there. So it was crazy. And as I was in the back getting fish for somebody, the maintenance man's wife comes in, and she immediately starts to act like a, you know, the word that I'm not going to say, but it starts with a B. She was so rude and so impatient, and you could tell she was so pissed off. She was like, "I need his check." So I'm like, okay. So I finished getting these people's fish, and I go up to the front, and I'm trying to unlock the safe, which our safe was like really old. So it was really hard to open. So it took me a couple minutes to get it open, and she's standing in front of me, literally with her hands crossed, tapping her foot. And remember, at this point, there's like lines backed up at both registers, and I'm trying to hurry up, and it's making me nervous because I'm trying to hurry because she's pissed off. So I finally get the envelope that I have to get. The envelopes that the checks came in were like really heavy duty cardboard, and my first thought was to grab the box cutter that I had in my pocket and open it up because I thought this would be the fastest way to open it up, and I could get her out of my store and she would just quit being insanely rude. So I get the envelope and I'm holding it like this, so my fingers are chilling at the end of the envelope, and I take the box cutter and I go shoo. And I was in such a hurry, I guess I did it too fast, and the box cutter did not puncture the cardboard. It just ran straight through and sliced my finger. And immediately after I sliced my finger, I grabbed it like this and held it as tight as I could. I didn't say a word to her. I didn't say a word to anybody. I took the checks. I still had them all in my hand. They were still not open, and I went to the back of the store. At this point, I actually hear her saying, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" But I couldn't even deal with her because I knew that I had really just injured myself. So I run back to the back, and by this time, we have 3 employees, me and 2 other employees. So one of the employees was actually in the restroom. So I go back and I start banging on the restroom door, and I was asking this guy, I'm like, "Hey, I really need you to come and look at my finger because I'm really afraid that I might pass out." I'm not good with blood when it's my blood at all, you guys. So he finally gets out of the bathroom and we go in the back, and he's like, "Okay, just move your thumb. I'm sure it's not bleeding that bad." Final last freaking words, you guys. It's funny because this guy was actually, he was gonna go to school to be like a nurse, and I moved my thumb, and it literally, I've never seen, it was horrible. there was blood everywhere. We couldn't get it to stop bleeding, and it was awful. So long story short, me and him are back there probably for about a good 10 minutes just trying to figure out how to stop the blood. And I actually have one of my regular customers come to the back, and they kind of put their head in the door and they're like, "Hey Bree, so-and-so still wants that check." I'm like, this son of a gun. I was so pissed off, you guys. So I literally wrapped, we had like rags and stuff in the back, cleaning rags, but they were clean. I wrapped them around my whole hand and walked that check up to the front, and I will never forget, I have never wanted to punch somebody in the face as bad as I did that day. I had the lady's husband's check in my hand, and I literally just slammed it on the counter, and I was like, "There you go, thanks for the inconvenience," and walked away. I was so pissed off. But that pretty much sums up all of the birthmarks. Really? All of the scars that I have. If you have made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in my next video. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll put it up here. Make sure to go follow me. Some of the things I put on Instagram, but they never make it to YouTube. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye, Braxters.